everybody for being here, especially Judy. We love having her here as much as we can. I'll turn, this is our meeting for our special call work session for our budget allocations for next year's budget. So I'll turn it over to Kyle real quick, and I know we got kind of a packed schedule the rest of the day. So.
Hello everyone. You guys are all used to doing this from previous years. So as you can see, we have a pretty jam-packed schedule. So we're going to try to hold people to 10 minutes if possible. I know that isn't in stone, but we're going to do what we can. So and any questions the council may have, this is y'all's first time doing it. So kind of the house rules is each agency will kind of give an explanation for what the request is for. If you don't know about the agency, they'll give some background history on what they do, and then we'll open it up for questions you may have for them in particular. So first up is Decatur Public Library, and it's all yours, Sherry.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you today. Decatur Public Library supports all ages from babies to pre-K, our students from elementary school to college, adults and seniors by providing such essential services as early literacy, education, programming, access to materials, information, and technology. We have served this community for over 115 years, and this past year I have often reminded myself that this is not our first pandemic. Currently, 79% of our registered patrons are Decatur City residents, while the second largest component live outside the city in Morgan County. Over the past 4 years, while providing the variety of services that we do, we have remained at our present level of funding, faced some serious challenges, and implemented several significant cost-saving measures. We have experienced increased costs and expenses mainly due to inflation over the past 4 years. Books, materials, and online resources have gone up by 17%. Our general operating expenses such as contents, insurance, computer software, office supplies have gone up by 12%. HR resources such as health insurance and retirement have gone up by 4%. We have also experienced income impacts. Our county appropriation was cut by 50% in 2018 and is still down 18% from its previous level. TVA funding, which is our second largest allocation, has had severe drops as well as fluctuations each year and is currently down by 14%. And we've been at level funding with the city for 4 years now and have not requested an increase since 2017. So we made some difficult decisions and cut costs as much as possible. We eliminated 1/3 of our workforce, cutting our HR costs by $49,000 per year. We consolidated departments' duties and streamlined operations. We joined in with the city's health insurance program, saving us over $13,500 per year. We deployed open source library management software, saving us over $28,000 in upfront costs and over $17,000 a year annually. We automated library services such as generating email and text notices, saving 24% yearly on postage. And we even conducted a TVA energy audit and implemented recommended energy saving implemented those recommendations such as starting LED lighting, sealing door and window gaps, reducing our utilities costs by 26% annually. All of these efforts led to a savings of over $95,000 yearly. Because of these annual savings, we have been able to cover increases in operating expenses during the past few years and have now exhausted our large opportunities to reduce costs. We will continue to look hard and take advantage of cost-saving efforts. However, currently we do not see any of these large opportunities and we need your help. For this upcoming fiscal year, we are requesting a 4.5% funding increase from the city of $19,887 to increase our allocation to $461,823. So, what has this past year been like for the library? Early on, at the beginning of the pandemic, we ramped up our existing online services to meet our community's information and technology needs. We added more databases, ordered hundreds more ebooks and e-audiobooks. We extended our primary ebook collection to all Decatur City School students. We produced online programs. We updated large segments of our network infrastructure to ensure that we could keep up with the demand. This past year, we have had entire families and large numbers of students using our Wi-Fi or computers all day to attend virtual school or complete homework assignments because either they had no internet at home, or more often, the internet that they did have at home functioned too poorly for such tasks. We had individuals coming in to use our computers all day to update resumes, apply for jobs online, fill out personal forms, or simply just check on family in other regions. And again, all of these needs were already very present in our community, but the pandemic amplified them, and we made sure that we were there to address them. Overall, in the past 5 years, our online usage has increased by 195%. This past year, local residents accessed the library's free 24/7 Wi-Fi over 53,000 sessions. They downloaded 64,400 ebooks and audiobooks. They read our current online newspapers over 10,700 times. They utilized our online research databases over 34,000 sessions. Over 303 people per day came through our doors, and patrons checked out over 157,972 materials. Among the variety of programs that we do, one of our most special programs that I'd like to highlight is our free RSVP tax program. Every year, Decatur Public Library hosts free tax assistance through our partners with the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. This program serves an enormous benefit to local residents, especially our senior citizens and low-income families. Despite pandemic challenges, while taking all safety precautions, library staff and tax counselors work together to help as many people as possible to ensure that these families received refunds. Such income is vital to these families' survival, as well as providing spendable income generated back into our community. This year, volunteers worked 1,088 hours, filed 1,114 tax returns, with refunds totaling over $1.4 million. That is a direct impact on the livelihood of our local residents as well as our economy. We offer and have accomplished so much more than I can cover in our allotted time, but I hope that you'll take a few minutes to look over the information before you, because you, as our city council, deserve to know how we spend our allocation for our community. This upcoming year, we do want to expand our digital collection. Since 2016, patron ebook and audiobook downloads have increased by 115%, while usage of our online newspaper database has increased by a staggering 788%. We want to purchase more materials in print to satisfy residents' requests for physical materials. Library users still checked out over 93,500 physical materials this past year. And in 5 years, our waiting list requests have grown by 233%. We want to continue to offer a wide variety of programming, emphasizing early literacy, job skills, technology, and enrichment. Since 2015, our program attendance has increased by 103%. This past year, even with pandemic challenges, we were able to offer and squeak in 87 early literacy programs attended by over 3,200 little ones, and offer 50 free computer classes attended by 799 people. Finally, we do want to meet the increased technology needs of Decatur residents and sustain our network infrastructure to meet those demands. Many people don't realize the volume of technology that we have in our building. We currently have 44 public access computers that we maintain, as well as 19 software packages, 7 iPads, 6 online databases, 5 servers, 4 network switches, a library services platform software, website content management system, 3 self-check stations, RFID equipment, a router, firewall, as well as a robust Wi-Fi network. We want to continue to reinvest back into our community to meet those needs, whether it's for materials, technology, early literacy, or programming for all ages, and with your help, we can do that. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks. Any questions?
Yeah, one quick question. So if my math's right, roughly 80,000 people utilize the library, 303 per day?
Roughly, and on our normal year, it was well over 100,000, easily.
Anything?
What's the largest needs right now for the library?
The largest needs, right now, our largest needs by far are for materials, especially online. And that need was present and well in place even before the pandemic. The pandemic took that and amplified it.
And you see that being something that continues to move forward?
It continues to
the
move
online
forward,
material.
without a doubt. We have a lot of patrons who, I mean, just like everybody in this room, have time constraints and their lives are busy. So they can't always make it through our doors regularly. So it's helpful for them to have online access, and we have a lot of resources online. So it's helpful for them to be able to download ebooks or information, or catch up on the news with reliable, authoritative news resources when we're not able to be open to the public. So that's definitely something we want to continue to be able to do.
All good? Sherry, thank you for
Thank you so
coming, and
much.
thank you for your leadership at the
Thank you.
library. I've just been amazed to learn there's a lot more than books. It's
Yes.
offering
Yeah, that's
high-speed internet to people that don't have it, helping people with their taxes even at the
Yes.
library. So
Thank
thank
you
you,
very
and
much.
thanks
That's a great
Bill
program.
for his leadership on the board.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Sherry, for
Thank
taking
you.
10 minutes too.
I'm impressed. You did a lot of
That
that.
was
wasn't
great.
even reading. That was pretty impressive.
All right. Second up, Morgan County Health Department, Miss Judy Smith and co. Good job.
First of all, I have no earthly idea why I'm here. If you all have not figured out what the health department did this past year, we're all in big trouble, so. And, well, I was gonna make a comment, but, you know, since they we'll let it back to you, I'll let it go, okay? Listen, we cannot thank you all enough for the support that you've given the health department this past year. And a couple of years ago, your predecessors, I told them that we're like your HVA system. You know, as long as we're quiet in the back room and you hear nothing from us and nothing's going on, you know that your community is being taken care of. Well, about 18 months ago, the Freon ran out, the HVA system blew up, and everything, it's just been wild since then. And, you know, I think for all of us, life is going to be pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. So I will tell you that your health department did give over 20,000 vaccines as of last week. We need to give 20,000 more. Right now, Morgan County is exceeding the state in terms of vaccinations, but it's still way below where we need to be. And quite honestly, in the last 2 weeks, we have had 83 additional cases. I meant to find out before we came here how many were actually in the hospital, but we've seen hospital rates go back up. And so, you know, whether we like it or not, it's not over. Now, we gave each one of you a mask. We hope you never have to use it. But it's probably not a bad idea to keep it in your car. I will tell you there are some businesses that will end up back in mask. I don't think there will be any closures or lockdowns according to our state health officer, but it clearly is not over. In the meantime, we still do the other things that public health, and they even though some of them were done remotely, they still went on during the time that we were having the pandemic. Before I get off of that, let me say that we do have clinics 5 days a week. We do have a designated, dedicated person to do both testing and vaccination at the health department. And we're hoping that, unfortunately, we're awfully close to schools starting back. We wish that we had more of our kids vaccinated. It kind of is what it is, but we will be available if there's anything that we can do to do that. I sent you all a letter with a lot of the other stuff, and you've got the information on the other things that we do. We still are inspecting your restaurants. I will say that you had over 300 re-inspections last year because of food violations and those kind of things. So, and I wasn't going to say it since Mr. McMasters had made the comment about what else did we do. We do still have STD. We still do have vital records. We do still have a lot of things going on. So thank you for letting us serve you. I hope you have been proud of what your health department has done this past year, and I hope we've served you well. I want to mention one other thing. We have, like a lot of other people, have gotten some one-time COVID money that we will have to spend between now and 2 years from now. What we are planning to do with that money is, first of all, we're going to put in a generator so that we don't lose vaccine. There have been issues in times past about having to take the vaccine to somewhere else, to an off-site facility, and we just simply cannot afford to do that. And so we will be putting in a generator. We do plan to do a wraparound drive at the health department, so in the future we hope to offer you drive-through clinics all the time. The police will be very happy. They were very unhappy with us, as you all know, at times. We would love to tell you that we'd have it in place in time to do the flu clinic that way. We are gonna have a pole barn. Now, I will tell you that I did ask them to do it like an Exxon barn so that we could do change the oil while you were there. We thought that would be an incentive. That's not gonna go, that didn't go real well, so, but we will have a pole barn, so on days like this morning, when it's pouring down rain, which it seems to do all the time these days, we will be able to continue to have clinics. So the money that you all have given us continues to do basic public health services, whether it's environmental health, whether it's we have a fair number of uncompensated folks in this county. We get no money for STD treatment, for TB treatment, and some of those other things, and so you all are responsible for allowing us to fund the basic public health services. In addition to that, your money has been used for those things that were not covered in the COVID thing, the COVID response. You know, we did get free vaccine. We were able to charge the administrative fee for folks that did have insurance, but we did not refuse service to anybody. If anybody didn't have their insurance card, if anybody didn't have anything else, they were still provided the services they needed. And you need to be proud of yourselves for allowing that to happen, because you helped us take care of your community. So thank you so much, and I will see you back Monday morning at 9:30, and I'm sure there's no questions.
Yeah,
And I'll
Judy,
bring
I mean,
props.
Y'all were, in my opinion, y'all were kind of the face of this pandemic. The updates you gave, all the hard work you and your staff put in, thank you for what you did.
Well, you all have a wonderful team at the health department. I'm probably the least of it, although I get all the credit, but you know, you have a wonderful team, and we intend to keep it that way. So thank you very much for letting us be your partners.
Thanks, Judy.
Thank you.
Judy.
Thanks, Ms. Judy. All right. Ms. Coleman, you're up. Unless y'all need a break, you just let me know when you need a stoppage.
We already need a break. We're
Long day.
Hey, we're 3 minutes early,
Yeah,
guys.
we are.
This is great.
About that hour mark, I'll let you know.
I'm just glad I speak before
Oh,
the
this old
dynamic Amy Rakestraw. I think she brought cake. Good afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Lisa Coleman. I'm the Executive Director for the Mental Health Center of North Central Alabama. As you know, we're your local nonprofit 5013C 310 board, your essential mental health safety net all the time, and certainly during the time of the pandemic. Each year I kind of explain to the council how your mental health center is different than your average counseling center, to talk about those wraparound services that we do. Of course, we have the individual therapy, group therapy, and stuff of that nature, but we're your crisis teams. We have, here in Decatur City, we have the assertive community treatment team, which is a doctor, a nurse, a therapist, and a case manager that go together to homes for those people that are so chronically sick that won't come into the center. So we have case managers going into the homes, counting medication. We have nurse teams go into the homes to give the shots of those people who are so paranoid that they believe they don't need the shot and won't come into the center. So we're second to none to transportation. Total, we have about 50 vehicles that help transport clients to and from services. We own about 15 passenger vans that get those people to our day programs. Those day programs are the 4-hour programs where the chronically mentally ill come in for 4 hours a day. So we can see them, monitor them, look for any kind of symptoms that may need more attention than just on an outpatient basis. Of course, our job is to keep people out of the state institutions and in the community with those wraparound services. So this year, we're asking for the same amount of money we asked last year. That's $30,000. Y'all gave us, thank you, you gave us 10 extra thousand last year for the Stepping Up program. As you know, Stepping Up, we're really proud of that program. We are, I have to pat us on the back, we are the jewel of the state. We do a lot of state training on what we do for, with our Stepping Up program. But that's providing what has never happened in my 30 years of doing mental health services that needed to happen, as I call it. It's the no-brainer of putting a case manager inside the jail and inside the ER so that they can introduce themselves. Hi, I'm Lisa Coleman, and when you get out, I can help you with housing, I can help you with medication, I can help you with mental health services, or whatever makes those individuals keep going back to the jail over and over and over again. Same way for the ER, you know, our first responders in Decatur City Police are dropping people off at the ER for needs, and sometimes it's just because their mental health issues, they're not linked to primary care. So once we can identify that, we're able to link those people to services. So $20,000 of the $30,000 last year served 34 unduplicated clients for 225 hours of service and 424 episodes. 125 hours of that was licensed counselors, 20 hours of doctors, 16 of nurse, and 64 case managers. And every year I'm asked the same question, Lisa, that seems low. That sounds like a really low number for 20K. I hear ya, but those are some pretty expensive services. Psychiatry services are very expensive. Nurses now are very expensive. Trying to keep a master level therapist for over 3 or 4 years is really expensive, and we do our best to retain those staff. So, and with the Stepping Up funds, we've served over 101 people so thus far. Got a couple of more months to go. In fact, I was in the jail last week with the case manager observing the intake process, the referral process, to make sure we can keep that flow moving. It's a constant retraining issue. So with that, you have 3 seats on our board of directors. I have 21 bosses. Thank you very much. Your 3 seats, well, I have to serve 7 municipalities, including the city of Hartselle. Luke Sladen, Burt Pippin, and John Whitley are the seats filled by the Decatur City Council. I'm not the greatest presenter, but I'm pretty passionate about what I do. So.
I'm just curious, I think we kind of nationwide post-pandemic lockdowns, y'all, I mean, I assume you would think you'll see some of that too, just people that kind of struggle not having community and stuff, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were able, during the pandemic, we served them however they needed to be served because their bipolar episodes didn't stop, their schizophrenia did not go away. So whether they could come to the clinic or we needed to go to them, we were also, the regulations were a little relaxed for us to do telemedicine, telephonic, whatever we needed to do to serve those individuals. So.
Any other questions, Lisa?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll keep on trucking. Miss Rakestraw with the Morgan County Seniors Council, Senior Center.
Lisa's right, I brought cake.
Oh, man.
I remember, you okay with this?
You aren't gonna say.
I have to.
Okay,
Is this legal?
true confession,
All that.
Lisa Coleman was my very first professional boss in Alabama, and she still speaks to me.
That accounts for something.
And she is absolutely amazing. So she does get to take a little credit for who I turned into. Only the good parts. Too, rather than I'm just gonna pass my thing. Okay. Oh, wait, I have a little something else for you. This is included in my application, but you guys have seen so many pieces of white paper, you probably did not take time to read it at that time. I'm gonna encourage you to do so.
Sorry about this.
Okay. Is there a timer that goes off or something?
You're good.
You get electrocuted.
You would want that from me, Carlton. You would want that.
Jacob has a
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm Amy Rakestraw, and I'm the director at the Decatur Senior Center over on Memorial Drive. The next 2 days are going to be tough on y'all, and you're going to see all kinds of charts and graphs and PowerPoints, but I feel certain that no one else will present you with such a tasty visual aid. I thought I'd let our cooking do part of the talking today. This is our signature, that senior center cake that we make, and they requested often, when you gonna make that senior center cake? On August 3rd, we will resume serving a hot homemade lunch 4 days a week to about 1,000 folks each month. Our food is delicious, and all our groceries are purchased locally, often from the farmer's market. Our current health rating is a 95. The plate lunches are a primary source of income, and we're very proud of the meals we serve. But feeding folks is only part of what we do at the Senior Center. The center is where our seniors truly matter. We treat them like rock stars. They're in charge. They choose what activity they want to do, when they want to do it, with whom, and they often choose what we'll have for lunch. Each of them is very important to us, and we treat them with a great deal of respect. We call them by name, and we often know their pets and their grandchildren's names too. We know their individual dispositions and personalities, their habits, their likes and dislikes. They're very vocal about their dislikes. We know a lot of their dislikes, like trying to tell them what to do. We know them very well, so we notice when something's not quite right with them. We do give them a place to belong and socialize, but we also act as a second set of eyes on the status of their well-being. Please take time to read the success story I gave to each of you. It describes a situation in which it really mattered that we were so in tune with one gentleman's habits and schedule. We are by far the largest senior center in the county with 748 participants and 60 different groups that met there prior to the pandemic. I would imagine that we serve more folks than all the other senior centers put together in Morgan County through the county commission's program, but I don't have their participation numbers. 80% of our participants are Decatur residents. Activities range from billiards to bunco, dominoes to dulcimer lessons, and bridge to board games. I can bore you with statistics about the correlation between staying active and staying healthy. It's a no-brainer. I do, in fact, have a psychology degree. But the bottom line to mental health is if you feel like you matter to somebody, if you have a purpose, and if you have something to look forward to, you feel better physically and emotionally. You stay engaged and active in the community, and you delay institutionalization, like assisted living or nursing home placement. The Senior Center provides all of this and more to our seniors. We not only keep them active at the senior, we keep them active all over Decatur with awareness of volunteer opportunities, community events, and fundraisers supporting other nonprofits. We take field trips downtown quite often, or we did before the pandemic, and I've already got a list of things we're going to do this year. We help to keep them, their life experiences, and their money moving all over town. We are both vital and essential to this community's quality of life. Our attendance numbers speak for themselves and indicate that the need for our senior recreation facility is tremendous. We had more than 12,000 instances of participation in 2019. We reopened recently, very recently, on July 6th. I'm surprised you all didn't hear me holler. It was so exciting. And in 8 days, y'all, we've had 200 instances of participation. We aren't even serving lunch yet, so we don't even have that to draw on. They just want to be together, and they love our center so much they've all come back. Prior to the COVID-19 outbreak, we had gained new groups and new participants, and we were selling more plate lunches and casseroles than we had ever predicted. We were on the upswing, and we're certainly doing all we can to perpetuate that momentum. The unfortunate closure of the center due to the pandemic has only reinforced how important we are to those we serve. We've called our seniors to check on them, run errands, brought groceries, delivered casseroles, and just listened to their concerns. It's not just a job. We love them, and we love our center. My remaining 2 staff members, we lost 2 who just didn't come back after the brief shutdown. But my 2 remaining staff members and I did a lot of soul searching when the possibility of increasing our pay through unemployment compensation was a possibility. We could have done so legitimately and justifiably. We could have each had more income by doing so. But my 2 team members and I believe in what we do and for whom we do it, and we forged ahead. We sold casseroles curbside, rain, sleet, hail, or snow, and most recently, blazing. Each Thursday since we were closed by the order of the governor 16 months ago. Our most expensive item is $12, and I'm glad y'all are sitting down, because we have generated $86,000 in sales since the shutdown, with the most expensive item being $12. So tell me our food isn't good. This has kept us afloat, relevant, and valued. It's helped us to keep up with our seniors too, because there's a line around the building on Memorial Drive every Thursday if you wonder what all the hoopla is. It allowed us to maintain your property and keep it functional. We've also gained a number of new folks who now have a vested interest in our senior center. What we do at the Decatur Senior Center is both subtle and yet profound. Our services stave off isolation, give them a place to socialize, help them maintain 50-year friendships, and help newcomers form new support networks. As a result, they remain active, aware, and involved. We serve as their event center, mental health clinic, restaurant, post office, wellness checkpoint, bank, phone book, hub of information, dance hall, and gossip parlor. You can't imagine how tired my elbow gets from changing hats all day, but we really do serve all those purposes for a number of them. And I get told every single day, I just don't know what I'd do without this place. We do appreciate the use of your building and are pleased with your perennial funding of our agency. I recognize that your allocation is a competitive grant and not a guarantee. After enjoying fairly level funding for several years, the city allocation was cut from $51,000 to $24,000 by the former council. I was told we could revisit funding once we reopened. So here I am revisiting funding because we're open. We are worthy of your funding. We are excellent stewards of your property, and we are excellent stewards of your money. The bottom line is we cannot do this without you. We're an essential service to a tremendous population that is only growing. Please allow us to remain vital in serving the people who helped to build this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
So you said 80% of participants are Decatur residents?
Yes.
And so the other 20 are from county? Does the county?
No, not the county. They're from other counties. They're from Tennessee. They're from Ardmore. They're from Coleman. I mean, we really have a gem here. And it's a different service delivery than most any other senior center you will encounter. And you may know this intimately because your grandmother was an avid participant at
Yeah,
the...
I can attest to how good the food is. And the bridge games, I've heard about a lot of those. So.
Man, the first day I broke up a almost slap fight in the hall between 2 people older than 85 over one of them accusing the other one of cheating.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
You want a piece of that cake?
If you have leftover, I ain't gonna tell
Hey
you.
man, I got cake.
Yeah.
If
Would you care for
if
one?
there's only one, make sure
You
Mr.
better
Herman
give
gets
Herman a
one.
piece.
Yeah,
He
hey,
may-
legal's sitting over there.
Yeah, legal's sitting
Yeah,
over there.
I know Mr. Mars.
I don't know if this is bribery of elected officials.
No, it's
You're
just,
eligible.
it's just getting it,
That's right.
it's a lot more effective when I'm in the middle of the pack or when I am at the very end, because y'all seen so many things that you're blurred over. But thank you very, very
Thank
much.
you.
So much. The cake always speaks usually. Not bad.
Dane, do you need a piece of cake?
Dane, do you want some cake?
You can have mine on there.
It's not on your juice diet.
Okay, I have two more. Do y'all want arm wrestle?
Hey, I want them
I'm
to.
gonna wait till the stage is clear.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, we're waiting.
We're ahead of schedule.
5 minutes ahead.
Oh, we're behind.
Rock. Miss Townsend, if you're ready, it's all yours.
All right, so we've got the mask and cake. What do you bring? What gifts do you bring for us?
Blue jobs is the answer to that.
That's a good one.
Got my ear.
Well, I mean, I do. Can we always go after they get cake? Because that feels like just a good idea.
Puts everybody in a good mood.
Right, jeez. Hey y'all, I'm Penny Townsend. I'm the VP for our Economic Development Association here in Morgan County. Jeremy apologizes for not being here, although I assume he's either going to judge my performance currently or later today from where he is. We are responsible for industrial recruitment and retention here in Morgan County. We are, of course, based in the city of Decatur. Of note, in the last year, Decatur's MSA was voted as a #2 top metro in Site Selection magazine. That was our 5th time in 10 years. LinkedIn's economic graph team included Decatur in conjunction with Huntsville and Albertville in 10 cities that preserved or enhanced their status as a tech hub through the last couple of years. 2020 Smart Asset Study has Decatur as #12 for the best city to work in manufacturing, highest of any place in Alabama. And that was for our 1-year job growth of 12.9% and our 1-year income growth of 1.6%. Your appropriations count for about 15% of our income. We have been cut in the past, and in line with everybody else, we have made the appropriate cuts internally. We currently have a vacant communications and marketing position that will remain vacant until that funding is stronger from any of our income sources. Our recruitment efforts and our workforce recruitment efforts are two things I wanted to discuss with y'all today. Our recruitment efforts, in 2019, we submitted on 11 projects, 2020, 16, and to date, just over halfway through 2021, we have submitted on 11 projects. This year, there are 9 projects we were not able to submit on because we do not have the land or the buildings that are being requested. I think a lot of us anticipated that after COVID we would see more remote work coming through. What we're actually seeing is more labor-intensive work, particularly with electric vehicle battery production. So high capital investment, but also high labor. Fun fact, Decatur is #6 in the nation for unemployment right now, so it's a great problem to have, but it does produce some extra challenges when we're recruiting companies. To that end, we actually have some exciting news. Throughout the last year, we've been doing a lot of data mining, trying to figure out where our workforce is, where our strengths are, and how we can recruit more high-density tech companies to our area. As a result, we have been advised through TVA to work with their consultant on lead generation. So we are going to be signing a proposal with a company to help us recruit specifically to small tech companies through LinkedIn that are either in growth mode or are hiring for remote work. Hoping to identify those that are more on the West Coast to highlight our cost of living. Through that same data mining, we've been able to discover that for something like software developers, we may be at 2.2% unemployment, but we have 435 that live in Morgan County and 400 that are commuting out. So the talent is here. It's a matter of making sure that we're able to communicate that story, so we're excited about this new opportunity to do just that. We also recruit through site consultant visits. Jeremy has a lot of strong relationships in that regard that I'm going to attempt to learn. We do familiarization tours with both the Department of Commerce in the state of Alabama and TVA. Those are typically our lead generation. So if they know about opportunities in our county, they will let us know if they have a viable project for us. We also do traditional print ads, trade shows for companies that are growing. Retention visits, we do these every 2 years with all of our companies, and this is a great way for us to understand if there is an opportunity in their supply chain for us to recruit someone closer to them. Also, if they have an opportunity for growth that we can support them in. We have a More in Morgan website that targets the automotive industry. We do data mining to help build our ecosystem and identify specific strengths. we're working on that targeted campaign with the tech recruiter, and we also do corporate visits. That's really more Jeremy and Arthur that are able to go to some of our corporate headquarters and discuss our community and why we're a good option for their continued growth here. On the workforce side, we work with 3 specific areas. One is prison reentry. These people are going to be coming into our community, and we know that if we can support them with viable work, that actually decreases recidivism and supports our workforce. We work with out-of-region recruitment, things like Fort Campbell in Tennessee. They put out 400 soldiers a month that are leaving the Army, so that's a great opportunity for us to go discuss where they're going, what jobs they want, and working with them on that front. This is a great opportunity for us to work regionally with Huntsville and Limestone County because we need them in this labor shed. We need them to come to North Alabama. So you'll see a lot more collaboration between those groups in the coming years. We also get to support our local companies with their co-ops when they come visit for the summer. We have about 60 that come into Decatur every year. And the first thing we do is host them downtown, introduce them to our community, make sure that they know that we're excited that they're here, and help them build a connection with this town so that if they are offered a job, we get to keep them. So that's been really exciting over the last couple of years. It's grown, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback on that as well. Lastly, we work on retention through our K-12 schools to make sure that those that are graduating from our school system know to come back here for great jobs later. We do that through Teachers on Tour, which is an event where we take all of our teachers from all 3 school systems into Calhoun and into a manufacturing plant so they can see what our jobs look like in this area. Endless Opportunities is our hands-on career fair that we work with all the students, and then the Workforce Expo. And we do all of these with our chamber, obviously, because it's not just industrial jobs, but commercial and retail as well that we need to be supporting. We also make sure that when we bring in projects, either virtual or in person, we always highlight Decatur. They come to our office in Decatur, we take them out in Decatur. Of course, Jeremy and I live in Decatur, so does the other person in our office. So it's not just because, oh yeah, you got that. It's not just because we work here, but we have our hearts here too. We really do love this community. We also, this year, have already announced several projects that have located to Decatur, but I did want to highlight one specifically. In February, we announced the Polyplex expansion. It's $90 million capital investment and 100 jobs. This was the 3rd try in recruiting this expansion to this location, so we're excited about that. But we also ran an impact study so that y'all have better understanding of what that means for this city of Decatur specifically. So for every dollar of your appropriations that you've given us, just that project alone returned $1,700.31 per dollar in CapEx and direct jobs and in induced jobs. So it's important for us to make sure that we highlight that the impact that we have is not just in jobs and CapEx, but in everything that comes with that. Car tags, jobs, roads, gas, retail, homes. So I want to make sure I answer all of your questions, but specifically return on investment as it comes to your appropriations. So we take that very seriously.
Pretty healthy return on investment.
We try.
Y'all have any questions?
I don't think so.
No.
You talked a lot about tech recruitment and sites are not there. I mean, is that like a change that's happened recently, or?
Okay, well, there's 2 different types of sites not being there. Sites not being there for large industrial is really where we've seen that we're not able to submit on these projects.
Yeah.
Those are not going to be tech-based. They're going to be tech in terms of as much as our manufacturing is heavily automated.
So that's what I'm saying. There's a shift from that recruitment to more of a tech base.
There is for us.
Yeah.
Locally, there has to be. I think we expected to see more of it nationally, and it's not really happening that way, just because so much of the electric vehicles are coming up that it costs a lot of manufacturing to make that happen. And so those are still very labor intensive. But for us in this county, tech's a new priority. Especially because we know we have the talent. It's just making sure that we can keep them here.
It's a big shift for Decatur. We've been the smokestack more towards a different type of job and industry.
It is, but when you look at our residents are highly technical. I mean,
it's
they
a
have
good
the
shift.
ability to support this.
Do you think we have sites, availability more so with the tech?
You know, tech, the beauty of that is that it's very high density, so we're able to look at more office space. We're able to look at small buildings that need to be rehabbed, things of that nature, that open up a lot more opportunities for us in that field. Especially if we can maybe finagle some remote work companies so that we can also get residents that can work from home but have central space to use if needed.
Somebody move his mic.
They got them
All right.
turned up so loud, like I really, you know, golly.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions for Penny?
No.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Thanks, Penny.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's out the way. Dropped my cake on it.
Ms. Mitchell, if you're ready.
Don't put any crumbs in there.
Ms. Mitchell, if you're ready, it's all yours.
Thank y'all for being here and listening to us and us be able to come and share all the things that we've been doing since last year, for the last appropriation. One thing that we have just completed is Camp Carnegie. It's the first time we've had 2 weeks of camp, June and July. We had 35 campers, and of course that was full with a waiting list. We do a STEAM camp, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. We also provide scholarships, and this year we were able to provide 11 scholarships to students that were nominated by their art teachers. That is a big portion of what we do to be able to reach the children and to give them opportunities. But this past year has also been full of challenges, as y'all know, and we've, from being shut down, then be able to reopen, we really had to change the way that we were functioning in the Art Center. And one way we did that was we even projected Jose Benacort's photography of Cuba on the outside of the Carnegie. We did that, I believe it was in February, and so we were able to do an outside event so that we could still have art, but do it safely. And just kind of really thinking out of the box so that we can continue to serve the people of Decatur and give them art opportunities. The exhibits change every 6 to 8 weeks at the Carnegie. Winfred Hawkins is our artist until August 1st. And we brought him in because of camp, but also because he has had to overcome a lot of challenges in his life. He's dyslexic. He had a nerve injury where he lost ability to use his dominant hand, and so he had to relearn how to do his art. So it was really a lot of fun, and it was a great opportunity to talk to the kids about ways that you overcome challenges and how you don't let things like that stop you. We also have been spreading out our footprint of the Carnegie Visual Arts Center. We have an airport artway. I don't know if y'all have had the opportunity to see it. It's at the Huntsville International Airport. We change those exhibits quarterly. We also have a community wall there that features groups tapping into art and making a difference. And this month it is pictures of aging featuring the residents of Riverside here in Decatur. The sign that's at the Huntsville International Airport says Huntsville Artway, you know, Carnegie Visual Arts Center, Decatur, Alabama. So people that come into town who are able to see that and possibly come and visit our city. So we're really excited about the opportunities that that has given us. All these exhibits are free and open to the public. We do not charge to come. The only thing we charge for is our classes, and we try to keep those costs down. Carnegie Carnival, which is our big fundraiser, is a tourism draw and is great for the community. We bring in thousands of people to downtown Decatur, and this is be our 11th year. And so there are children that have grown up always knowing about Carnegie Carnival. And so I feel like we've really been able to become part of the culture of Decatur, that we have this wonderful multi-day event where we bring people all over the country in to run in a half marathon. Plus we have parades throughout the day, lots of things for families to do. So yes, it's a fundraiser for us, but it also brings in tourism and investment into Decatur. Another program that we're doing is Fill in the Blank, where we're using vacant storefront buildings to showcase art and artists. We have a space at the McCleary Tire Building, and then we also have a space at what I call the Radio Building on Bank Street. Both those spaces otherwise wouldn't have anything in them are now lit and at night and have art. So it kind of brightens up everything. So, and we do that. We do not take a cut of anything that's sold in those displays. That goes directly to the artists. That's our way of helping the artists during this pandemic when they didn't have many opportunities to get their work out into the public. And so we're doing that in conjunction with Alabama State Council on the Arts, working with a grant with them. we want to have a bigger presence in Decatur. We want to have a bigger footprint in Decatur. We feel that we are ripe for growth with Cook Museum doing so well. If we're able to grow and have a bigger footprint and be able to do more things in the community, it'll be even one more reason for people to come to Decatur and spend longer periods of time. The Carnegie Visual Arts Center is also involved in River Clay, which is, of course, a big draw, and we bring artists all over the country in for that. That will be in October. And I'm also involved in the Urban Art Initiative, which we are working on a big project that I'm hoping that we'll be able to come and talk to y'all more about soon. So I heard the person before me talking about return on investment. I feel like that we are able to also give a big return on your investment in us, and would really like for more investment to be put into us at the Carnegie Visual Arts Center, because we're doing a lot of things out in the community to try to generate money and tourism and be a part of changing the way people view Decatur. And the more support, operational support we can have, the better job we can do.
What are some of the things to expand the footprint? What would that look like?
Well, it could look like a couple of different things. It'd be possibly buying land that's nearby to where we are now, or it is, we'll have the opportunity, I think, in the next several weeks to expand in a temporary basis, but at the radio tower building on Bank Street. I believe we're going to, I've been told that that's what we're going to do. I've got to meet with the guy and us work out the details, but we're going to put art in that area there while they work on renovating that building. So to give people more opportunities, now it's wonderful because the ACA their art exhibits are free also. So you can come to the Cook Museum, you can go to the ACA, you can come to us. There's more things for families and people wanting to visit the area to do.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Kim.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
guys.
you.
All right.
You can get Carlton to run in that half marathon next year.
Somebody's gonna have to chase me.
I'm glad you believe in it.
Somebody's gonna have to chase me.
We'll keep on rolling. You guys good? We're an hour. We're almost an hour.
Why are you looking at the old guy down here? Let's go.
Okay. Next up, Miss Davis with Morgan County EMA.
Hit the 1 hour mark after this one, then we'll make a break.
We're doing good, guys.
Yeah, y'all are early.
Hello. Thank you for seeing me today. I feel like I don't exactly fit in these proceedings because of the way we work together, and but this is where I am. So, just some highlights of what we do. We assist in administering the Decatur Fire grants, all of the ones that go through for their equipment, etc. We also are the liaison for the local emergency planning committee. So the industry in our area, which we have a substantial amount of it, I'm sure you guys know that, we have meetings on a regular basis, and we hold the emergency response plans for those industries, so along with the fire department, so that if there is a need for a response, we have that information, we can assist without there being any sort of delay, etc. We also manage, there's a web-based inventory of the mutual aid capabilities from each industry, so that if one industry needs something to respond to another incident at another neighboring industry, they know what they can get and where. We help coordinate that. We are the point of contact and the agency that the National Weather Service would work with for our special events in the city. So Spirit of America, etc. If we have, or when we have those type events, tournaments, etc. Anything that could be impacted by the weather, Weather Service gives us special information and very timely information on exactly what's happening, whether it be wind speeds are above what the balloons can handle, or lightning in the area for the soccer tournament, etc. We are their point of contact and your point of contact, so we're the go-between there. State EMA sees our agency as the sole alerting agency, so when the statewide alerting capabilities go live, we'll be the local alerting agency. And we are also the agency that deals with damage assessments and gets that information to the state. Homeland Security point of contact is in our office as well, which often benefits the city of Decatur more than most of the other county just because of the river, et cetera. And then, definitely not least, we spend a lot of time on the REP program, Radiological Emergency Preparedness. We asked in our 47% of the population of Morgan County lives within the Decatur city limits. What we did when we asked for the amount, $52,000, was basically looked at half of our operating budget and outside of TVA, and cut that in half again. So that was very short and sweet. What questions do you have?
Any questions?
I don't have any.
And the county gives an appropriation.
Our operating budget is, half of our operating budget is $103,000. So yes, and we also, it's in the paperwork, you'll see where we have an EMPG grant. The EMPG grant is a grant where we are reimbursed after the expense. So it's not, it has to be expended for it to be reimbursed. So, yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Ms. Payne? We are a little early, so.
Yeah, sounds like a good time for a break.
Unless we wanna,
No, we're,
we good? You wanna wait?
I mean, we're 15 minutes ahead of schedule right now.
I don't wanna hold her up if she's presenting, if you wanna.
Yeah, I'm good if y'all are.
I'm sorry, I'm not,
No, I'm Alyssa Makowitz with Hudson Alpha. I'm early, I was at 2:30, but I can pop on.
do you wanna go ahead and, is that good with y'all, or do you wanna wait?
Amazing.
Yeah, sure. If you're ready to come on in early, feel free to, we'll keep it going. I don't wanna keep you waiting any longer.
You can shorten your own staff. You don't have more things to do after you're done this.
So this is 2:30, so we're just bumping
Mayor, would you like some cake?
way early.
They bring gifts when they come. Got a basket cake.
Hi there, I'm Alyssa Makowitz. I'm from Hudson Alpha, and we're here on behalf of a proposal we submitted for our teacher training programs here in the Decatur City School System. So imagine if we were all in high school again, or middle school if that's your jam, and I told you that we were going to learn about a game called baseball, and I said, turn to page 23 in your textbooks, and we spent the next 2 weeks spending hours going over all the rules and all the scenarios, and we never once stepped foot out on the baseball field or picked up a ball or a bat. Now let's try something different. Imagine you're sitting in Miss Schlay's 11th grade AP biology classroom over at Austin High School, or Miss Smith's 9th grade class over at Austin Junior High. Do you want to read paragraph after paragraph about the chemical components that make up a genome? Or would you rather play that out and learn about how to do it because you're pretending to be one of those chemical building blocks with your friends and classmates? Putting on a detective hat and solving a mystery with scientific clues is far more fun and far more enlightening than reading another chapter in a book. So Hudson Alpha Institute for Biotechnology was founded on the principle that good science can speed breakthroughs from the laboratory bench to our bedsides. Our founders, Jim Hudson and Lonnie McMillan, firmly believed that we wouldn't be able to make important discoveries without bright young minds, and they wanted those bright young minds to be our kiddos, our children right here in Alabama. So they dedicated an entire arm of our work to education, hoping to educate and inspire the next generation and help ensure the success of our region, especially its economic future. I don't remember much about genetics from my education. I don't know that we ever studied it. But today it's everywhere. In the state of Alabama's course of study for 7th grade and 9th grade science, more than 40% of the content is related to genetics. This is required material that the state requires. It's important for our students' education. And so we provide free educator training for high school and middle school teachers across the state of Alabama. Our workshops offer continuing education credits for teachers while giving them important updates on information that's too new for textbooks. Science is an ever-changing field, and the opportunities for young people are endless as our workforce continues to grow and STEM skills are in high demand. During the pandemic, we pivoted to provide online learning tools and lessons that teachers could use in virtual settings. And this coming year, we'll be doing professional learning workshops, as we normally do for both middle school and high school educators. These workshops highlight recent scientific findings. They provide free kits of classroom resources that include hands-on activities to help translate these complicated concepts into understandable material. And we also provide stipends for the student teachers so that the school district doesn't have to cover that, so that the teachers can step out for their continuing education. We also do an annual guidebook that translates current research and science news into student-friendly language so that teachers can link what the kids are learning in the class with what they're seeing online and on TV and on the news. These real-world concepts converted into STEM skills are essential to help them succeed and to help them prepare for their future careers. Funding from y'all, from the City of Decatur, can help underwrite these dynamic activities and lessons that we provide each year to teachers in your district. In the last couple of years, we've trained 9 science teachers in 5 schools in the district that impact an estimated 1,800 students that benefit from this training each year. Our free teacher training and state-of-the-art lessons and tools have become an essential part of science education around the state, and with your help, we can inspire the next generation of STEM stars. Sloan Smith, a teacher at Austin Junior High, sums it up well when she says, quote, "I have attended many professional development opportunities over my 20-year career, but nothing has ever been as helpful and engaging as those from Hudson Alpha. They provide teachers current experimental biology lessons that are directly applicable to the state and national standards. My students are challenged to explore abstract biological concepts in tangible and relatable ways. They're getting the opportunity to do real science in a classroom or on-site at Hudson Alpha Institute for Biotechnology, and they love it." And I wanted to bring and show you all one of the kits. This is one of the kits that we provide to the teachers. This is for middle schoolers. But it's a fun hands-on activity that teaches the kids about if they were to create a fish breeding program, and the kids get to take these fancy little stickers and put them on these different things to come up with different traits in the fish. And it's a competitive game, so they all draw different cards, and then they all put together a business plan around it, and then they use the science and the genetic traits to see if they've come up with the fancy kind of fish that people want to buy. And it's just a great way to explain these genetic concepts in a way that will stick with the kiddos and that they'll walk away with. So, what kind of questions do y'all have?
I mean, a lot of this seems school-related. Do the schools help with funding for any of that?
So we do get some funds from the State of Education, the State Department of Education, that funds our educational outreach work. It underwrites some of the training that we provide, but not all of it. It's a portion of the budget. And it used to be typically for all of our high school training, but now we train both high school and middle school teachers. So it's become a smaller and smaller part of our budget. So we're trying to reach out more to bring in private philanthropic dollars and other public funds to support that. We get that through a variety of ways. I work for the foundation team, so we do bring in private grants to support that. But the challenge is the science is ever changing, and so the teachers need constant new curriculum tools, and we've been working with AmSty and others across the state to make sure that teachers get it, but we're trying to keep that going. And to fuel the workforce needs, as y'all know, that's huge, and so we're wanting to make sure that the kids are choosing science. Kids are choosing STEM careers, especially at younger ages, but when they get to college, they can't stick with it. And so we're trying to make sure that they're prepared, they both have a career track, and they're inspired, and they have the skills they need so they don't fall out of it when they get to college and lose the chance to step into these jobs that y'all, everybody's doing such a good job recruiting to the area.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Great job.
Thank y'all for your time today.
Honorable Council President.
Yeah, we can take a
Thank
brief.
You want to take a brief break since we're ahead of schedule?
Yeah,
What, guys?
like 5. Carl?
We did 9 in an hour, so that's really good.
5, 10.
5.
Yeah. Well, see, since Jessica wasn't here, we don't have to hear hers, so.
She's not late. She's not late. I don't know, IT, I don't know what you have to do. We're going to take a 5-minute
Good. I'm well, thank you.
He was joking.
Just,
Every time I pull out my
spent some good time, fun time with your husband. I
literally
spent
twice.
quality time with
When I
Larry.
pull out a piece of paper, it falls in this
Yeah,
microphone.
yeah,
Did you come out to the golf tournament on Saturday?
I did not. Shame on me.
It was good. It kind of rained some though.
Yeah, yeah. I just did not have it on my calendar. But I enjoyed going out, and especially to eat and drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a lot of teams this year.
So, I received, I got to hear Dion speak. And, I got my photo today from Khaki Bowling and, showed it to Larry.
Yeah.
And, he told me about how he's
All right, next up is Miss Payne with the Community Free Clinic.
First of all, thank y'all for being here and serving our town. I'm super happy to have you all here. And I just wanted to introduce me and tell you a little bit about the clinic, since you guys haven't heard me do all of this over and over and over. So this will be kind of an introductory thing. I'm Jessica Payne, and I'm the executive director at the clinic, and I've been there almost 9 years now, which is crazy. I can't believe it. But when the position at the clinic opened up, I thought to myself, you know, that is really something that is close to my heart, providing health care for people who don't have another access point to health care. My life as a social worker and in nonprofit has taken me in a lot of different directions, and finally I ended up here. And to me, it's an amazing place, and it's an amazing resource that we have right here in Decatur, and for the citizens of Decatur and for the people of all across Morgan County. The clinic's mission is to provide health care and health care services for people who don't have health care, have another resource for the uninsured. And that's what we've been doing for that long. We started, there was a steering committee that began doing some research initially back in around the year 2000. And this free clinic model had hit different states. It had been around. And the idea really was to provide a place for people to receive chronic primary care. And then that way they don't go to the emergency rooms for their care. And it's a lower cost option, and all of that is provided through volunteers that do this for the community. So the original steering committee was formed through people at the hospital, from the hospital foundation and different folks like that, and they got together and they went out all over the city and all over the county, and they did an original needs assessment to see if it was something that we really needed, to see how many people were uninsured, and then also if it would be supported by the medical community and by the community at large. So what they found was, yes, that it would be definitely needed in our community. It would alleviate a lot of the stress on the hospital system, and that it would help, you know, the overall economy of the city and of the county. Also, the medical community really embraced it. And so they found that there were so many doctors and so many different entities that were willing to support the clinic. And that has really been amazing. Initially, they raised over $1.6 million to start the clinic, and then they renovated the building, which was an old hospital building there behind St. John's Episcopal Church. And so we renovated that building and set it up. We opened our doors in 2005, and then in 2006, we started the dental clinic also there. So since that time, we've seen hundreds and thousands of people and had thousands of patient appointments. The clinic is not a walk-in clinic. It's not an urgent care clinic. It is more like a primary care physician's office for people who just don't have a doctor, who are not insured. And so many of our patients are what might be considered the working poor. So it's a lot of people who are working 1 or 2 part-time jobs and trying to make ends meet, and they still don't have the access to health plan. So if a person is working 10 hours at Hardee's and 10 hours somewhere else and another 10 hours somewhere else, they might not have access to, you know, to health insurance plan. And so that is really, you know, our typical patient that's working there, or that's being served there. And so you know, you can see that keeping people healthy and keeping them on their chronic medications is so important for their ability to give back to the community. And so that's a huge, you know, a huge asset to our city and to our whole community. The support of the clinic is still amazing. We still do pretty much everything with mostly volunteers. There are 3 of us that are full-time staff there, myself included, and then we have a person that's primarily bookkeeper and another person who's primarily the patient care coordinator, and she does referrals and that type of thing all the time. So the other 3 staff that we have are part-time. We have a part-time pharmacist because our pharmacy is a licensed pharmacy at the clinic, and so she holds the license for our pharmacy. And then we have a dental coordinator and a nurse practitioner. So the city of Decatur is committed to, through one of the HUD grants this year, we've heard that there might be some funding there. So I've been working with Alan Stover on getting a $12,000 grant through that funding source. And so we've been able to hire a nurse practitioner back again for that. But so those are our paid staff. And then all of our physicians, nurse practitioners, dentists, dental people, they are all volunteers. And that's how we're able to provide well over $2 million worth of care and services to the community for about $300,000 a year. So for every dollar, we can give back $15 of service to people in need here in the community. The Decatur Morgan Hospital provides anywhere from about $200,000 to about $500,000 worth of services and support to the clinic every year. And then you guys know how caring and wonderful our community is. Doctors in just about every field will take our patients. We've got a few gaps in service as far as that's concerned, but for the most part, our patients are very well taken care of, and we can refer patients out to their offices if they don't actually come to the clinic to see our patients. The city of Decatur has provided an amazing amount of support to the clinic in the past. Every year since I've been here, it's been around $59,000 in services each year. And then last year during COVID, they bumped it up to $75,000 last year. And I've asked for level funding again this year from last year. Hopefully, you know, that can be continued. I don't know what the state of everything is right now, but that's what we're asking for. Just wanted to let you guys know too that we kept providing services all year. We never closed our doors. We kept providing medications for our patients, and you know, we had to do a few changes. We had to do things a little bit differently, like have them pick up their medications from the curb instead of inside the building, and different things like that, including some telehealth and some different ways of different methodologies. But anyway, I wanted to see if you guys had any questions for me, and I could answer anything else for you.
Where does the rest of your operating funding come from?
Well,
Because 4% is 75,000.
Right. So a huge part of our budget, in the budget that I gave you guys, a huge part of our budget is reflective of the donated goods and services. So that's looking at the whole big picture of everything. When you take the donated medications that we apply for every year, that's a huge chunk. and then the donated services, which includes volunteer hours of the physicians and the doctors that we refer our patients to, and the hospital services. That's a huge part of it. We still have to have cash to operate. We still have to pay our bills, and we still have to, have the money also. So we are a United Way agency, and let's see, United Way provides about $38,000 to us. I've been really wanting to have all the municipalities across the county step up and, make donations to us, have an allocation. City of Hartsville has always provided funding. The Morgan County Commission actually reinstated their funding last year, so that was very nice. We appreciated that. Not to the extent that they were providing in the past, but they gave us some back, so that was good. And then we are supported largely through donations and different funding sources. It's just a variety of sources. Several years ago, we restarted the Alabama Association of Free and Charitable Clinics, and across the state of Alabama, there are currently 13 member clinics in that association, and there are more coming on board currently. So there's probably about 16 that we know of that are operating kind of like we are. So it's actually, really a unique form of service delivery, going back to, churches and individuals and different entities in the community, really supporting it and doing so much for it to keep it going. Churches are another big thing, another big funding source of ours as well.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you, Jessica.
Ms. Calgar, the floor is yours.
She brought a puppy.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Misty Calgar, and I am with the Morgan County Child Advocacy Center, or the CAC for short. As many of you know, and I know there's a lot of new faces here as well, we are a very small nonprofit in Morgan County. We have 4 full-time employees and 1 part-time employee. And I passed out a chart that just kind of shows the level of services that we have provided consistently to the residents of the city of Decatur and Morgan County at large. So basically, we provide several main services to children and families in Morgan County. So the first service that children are typically introduced to us is called a forensic interview. So when any local law enforcement jurisdiction, including the city of Decatur, receives a report that involves a child, where the child has either witnessed something, like a homicide, domestic violence, something of that nature, or it is suspected that the child has actually been abused in some way, whether that's sexual abuse or physical abuse, instead of having the child come to the police department and be interviewed by a law enforcement individual who they're wonderful, but they're usually not trained to talk to 5-year-olds about things that have happened to them, they actually refer the kiddo to our location, and we are trained to interview them on behalf of law enforcement and DHR. So the family comes to our center. We have, like I said, specially trained forensic interviewers we have a structure and a protocol that we follow, and we get the information for the investigators in a way that is non-traumatic for the children that come in. While that happens, we have a victim advocate that meets with the family and then we link them to any services, whether they're services that we provide or services in the community that the family may need. One of those big services is therapy. And so we provide something called trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a really long name for trauma-focused therapy. And essentially it's the gold standard of therapy for children ages 3 to 18 that have experienced abuse. So if our kids were to go out and try to find a provider that, provided that service, it would cost them anywhere between $100 and $150 per session. So last year we provided, I believe it was 929 sessions at no cost to the families of our community. So that saved those families over $92,000, where they would have to go out and find those resources, or perhaps go to another organization to try to find the resources for them as well. The other thing that we do is we participate in something called case review, and so that is once a month. All of the local law enforcement jurisdictions, including the city of Decatur, the district attorney's office, DHR, everybody that's involved in these cases, we get together and we talk about them to make sure that there are no gaps in services for any of the families that are being served. So whether that's prosecution, whether the family needs treatment, whether they need a medical exam, we all get together and we figure out how we can best help those families. And then the most recent service that we have started providing as of April is laying beside me, and she is a certified facility dog. So she lives with me, but she is housed at the Child Advocacy Center, and her purpose is pretty much to do what she's doing right now. She is able to provide comfort to children whenever they come into the CAC, and so she can go into interviews, she can go into therapy sessions, and she can also go to court with children when they have to testify. So I don't know if anybody here has ever been in court, but it's really scary. And if you're 5 and you're on a stand and you're trying to face somebody that has done something horrific to you, it's really scary to do that. And so she can actually sit at their feet while they're testifying, and that she can just kind of comfort them. And so the best story that we have about that is that we had a child that was very, very nervous, of course, to testify. And the dog was laying at her feet, and she actually put her feet on top of the dog and was using her breathing to regulate her own breathing while she was testifying. And of course, no one knew that was happening until after the fact, but she was able to calm herself down just by having the dog at her feet. So we think that's pretty amazing. So one of our main funders is VOCA, which is the Victim of Crime Act. And right now, VOCA is in trouble, and it's been in trouble for the past couple of years. I'm so sorry. Don't sit.
He may have some treats in his pocket or something.
Thank you. Probably, yeah. And over the past couple of years, we've seen a consistent decrease, not only locally, but across the state in VOCA funding. So this past fiscal year, our budget got cut over $17,000. And so we had to eliminate a full-time therapist position, which truly, if you look at our numbers, we really didn't have the capacity to do, but we needed to do that. And so our director and another staff member truly just divided up those therapy numbers on top of the job they were already doing to make sure that there was no gap in services for those families. There is a current initiative, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, it's called the VOCA Fix, that has passed the House, and it's currently being voted on in the Senate. And what that would do is it would actually restore some funding to the Crime Victims Compensation Fund, and then agencies that provide those services would be able to apply for those and hopefully level out some of the funding that they've lost. It's really great, and we're really hopeful that that will pass. The only issue is that have been told that even if it passes, it'll be probably 3 or more years before we see any of that money. And so if they continue to cut during that time, we truly cannot maintain the level of services that we're providing with continued cuts from them. And then kind of finally, the city of Decatur, many of you know, y'all are one of our 4 main funding sources, and you are actually 100% of the funds that we receive from the city of Decatur they are a match for our federal grant, which is through VOCA. So in order to get those federal funds, we have to have matches, and if we lose the matches, then we lose the federal funding. So we are very, very appreciative for the continued support so that we're able, of course, to serve the clients and the families of this county and also continue to receive our federal funding. And the big thing that I always like to point out is that the National Children's Alliance and the National Child Advocacy Center in Huntsville, they say that on average, communities that utilize the Child Advocacy Center model actually save on average $1,000 per child abuse case. So last year we provided services to 448 children in Morgan County. So that means that by utilizing the Child Advocacy Center model, that this community saved approximately $448,000, aside from communities that don't utilize our model. So again, we're very, very appreciative of the support of the City of Decatur, and if you have any questions, I can answer those.
I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Come on, Jesse, let's go. Good girl.
Mr. Kelso?
Hey, on my sheet, why does it say there's no request?
It's under the school fund.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't catch that either. I was curious.
I did the same thing.
It previously was under general fund, and then last year was the first year without the school fund.
Got it.
Okay.
Good afternoon, council. I'm Danny Kelso. I'm chief of the Morgan County Rescue Squad. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Mayor, as well. I'll be short and sweet with ours. Every year we usually ask for matching funds with the county commission, which is $22,500. Just to kind of give you a broad what we do, if you don't know, we provide pretty much water safety for the city of Decatur and Morgan County. Also, we do swift water dive team, high angle rescue cave if that comes about, stuff like that. But anyways, mainly for the city of Decatur, we provide the water. In Decatur, we have a boathouse over at Ingalls. We also have a we have 2 slips. We allow the city police to use one of those slips for y'all. And then, but we keep a boat over there. That boat is equipped with a fire pump, which can fight fire at the marina or anywhere that needs to be called upon. Same thing at Ingalls Harbor. We have a boat over there that has a fire pump that can fight fire and respond to if there was a fire. Also, the boat over at Ingalls Harbor, it has dive equipment. It has EMS, backboard trauma area. We also mutual aid with Decatur Fire and Decatur PD. So, last year and a couple of years, we've had fatalities in the river. We respond with them. We help them if they need further investigation, if they need divers or underwater metal detectors or anything that could help with evidence or anything to bring closure. A lot of calls that happen on the Tennessee River is stranded boats where people have problems with their engines. We usually tow them back to either Brickyard or Ingalls or Riverwalk. We assist upon request with the Chamber of Commerce when they have all their tournaments and stuff that they sponsor. If they need us to go out and help them do anything, we've done that every year. We've had a couple of incidents where bad weather came into play and the tournament people chose to continue, and a lot of people sunk their boats, and we had to go out there and bring them all back. So you never know about weather. We averaged this year so far, we've averaged 75 calls. We usually average over a year around 150 calls a year. Obviously, they're always unpredictable. Last year we've had a couple of incidents. I know if you look at our money as far as what we submitted in our budget, $63,785 of that was an insurance. That looks like a lot of money that we have, but we've been asking for the company to fix our boathouse with insurance claim, and that's what, you know, they'll get. So it's sitting in our account, but that's not our money. It's gonna go to the people that are over the boat or fixing the boathouse. So we got a couple of grants last year for capital improvement. Sometimes we have an opportunity to apply for grants. Sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. Last year we were fortunate enough to get a couple of grants. So those went to things that we requested, and that's really about it. Everybody's free. I mean, everybody's volunteer there. We have 40 members. As far as water safety events, I could hit with the Wet Dog, Dragon Boat, Jubilee, Spirit of America, you know.
Saw you last weekend at the Wet Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out often, so I see you guys responding pretty regularly, so appreciate everything y'all
Yeah.
do.
We try to be, when it is holiday weekends, we try to have people already on the water and do what we call a river patrol. And so people sometimes flag us down. Sometimes, you know, they'll just call 911 and we'll respond. So we've never missed a call. Every call that's ever been called through 911, we always have members there. We respond immediately, you know, in a timely manner that we get there. Again, we train anytime Decatur Fire or Decatur PD would want to use our equipment. We usually try to accommodate and set up training so that, you know, because again, we are supported them as well as supported the industry or anyone else that requests our assistance. If booms, we do have a hazmat trailer. If one of the industries had hazmat material go out, we can deploy booms. Obviously, Morgan County EMA, we would be a joint effort with a lot of agencies, but we would be a part of that as well.
The river obviously is a big part of our city, so we
Yes.
gotta have what you guys do out there, so thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you.
You healing up?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Almost done.
Good.
Good.
With 4 left, and we're way ahead, so the next one isn't scheduled till 3 o'clock.
Got a 250.
You're right, 2:50, sorry.
Didn't you tell him the other day there's no way he could get through all this?
Wake up, Bane, you were asleep over there.
I wish I would've scheduled more today,
Yeah.
but I left it open because, well, it's only half day.
This is year 1. I'm feeling your pain.
Mayor, we've been listening to these a while, haven't we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looks like y'all had a nice celebration for your friend.
Oh, he loved it. He would have loved it.
I saw a lot too much red and white.
The picture of the putting on the wall, the sisters, and one of them was a huge Tennessee fan. And she grew up in Bristol, and they moved down here for work. And the other one moved to Texas, Texas A&M. Her husband had worked at Texas A&M. So to get a picture of her putting up that flag, he would have loved that.
Any good?
I received, you know, khaki bowling with the Boys and Girls Club. I had the privilege of hearing Deion Sanders speak at their Boys and Girls Club fundraiser. And
Local, was he your?
yeah, he was in Huntsville. And,
Probably on a recruiting trip.
got my photo. She brought me the picture.
Stealing A&M's recruits.
Well, he's coaching for Jackson.
Jessica Payne's husband, Larry, tutored Deion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whenever they were at Florida State.
Speaking of McLean, Orlando was at the games Saturday. He played a little bit, I think, in the 35 and older leagues, and he was dressed out for the other game, but he wasn't playing in the first half. I don't know if he played in the second half or not.
Was he in pretty good shape?
No.
No?
No, Rico's
Yeah,
I would never want to get hit by him, man.
heck no.
He could run and he was big. I never forget that his first game as a freshman against Virginia Tech. We thought he was gonna get tossed because he hit that kid in the end zone with a good right hand.
Actually, he hit him with his fist.
Oh, yeah. Down on the ground. I guess the referee didn't see it. How much did the Rico and them end up making Saturday?
Haven't heard.
Enjoying your time so far?
Blast. So we got what, 7 minutes?
You take off.
You're good. We'll wait on you.
I might stretch my legs. No, it's not that. It's just, we got 7 minutes. I'm gonna stretch my legs. You know, us old people, we have circulation problems. You young whippersnappers and your.
Jacob's a year older now too, though, so.
Halfway to 70.
You 35?
You know, did you see the birthday hat he had on? It's quite festive.
What happened to that photo with your hair? That you were playing the bubble ball and you had a black wig on. And it got taken down. Did you tell him to take it
I
down?
didn't take it down. I can get it for you. If
I
you
want it.
I don't know anything
I'm
about
intrigued.
this. How have I missed this?
I want
You
it.
know, like the soccer you play when you're wearing the bubbles?
Yeah.
It was during that.
I should have
Yeah.
commented.
That's very fun, by the way.
I heard it's fun. Hold on. Let's finish my cake.
I rode your sidewalk.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
About 2 miles. Good.
Who brought it?
The senior center.
Amy.
You know, they do all the,
Casseroles?
yeah.
She does it every year. I didn't get
Dude,
it.
I've heard some of that stuff is like really good.
I bought in their casseroles before.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to get their casseroles all the time.
The casseroles are great, and you can just throw them in the deep freeze and get like
This
in the
tab.
freezer.
She brought them to, or she like brought them to me when they came to some leadership. But no, COVID happened right after that. Yeah. It's great, man. It really is good.
Hopefully I get accepted.
I think you will. It's not like super competitive. Based on who was in it, I mean, John A. was in it. Actually, that's when I met John.
Oh, that's right. That's
We-
right.
we had a good
Same-
time.
Were you all in the same group?
Yeah.
You were?
It was fun, yeah.
Goodness. Feel for you. Now you know what I had to deal with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he was a good, he was good.
I talked to him this morning. We went out to,
Did you invite him to this?
I did actually. He said,
He didn't show up.
he's in Pennsylvania. No, we went for our anniversary dinner.
I like Pennsylvania.
In, he's got kids out there.
What part?
Philly.
Oh.
So we went and had our dinner at Cotton Road for our anniversary, and we sit down, and,
Couldn't go to St. McGee's.
well, I'll tell you, let me finish the story. So the waitress comes out with 2 glasses of champagne. Hadn't ordered or nothing. And she goes, "This is compliments of John Andreetti."
if it's new requests, they should come, but if not, we should kind of know what they do, right? So, yeah. But this year kind of makes sense. We don't know a lot of it right now.
Like my mailbox on a Tuesday.
Sometimes it looks like my mailbox.
That's what I was talking about. On Mondays, that's when I check it. Danielle, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Probably give me a reminder after.
If you don't quit doing it,
You think everyone watches?
drives me insane. I'm like,
We're gonna get a complaint.
remove your mic.
Just don't hush me.
I didn't. Just waving to somebody. So you're opposed to the folding?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's like
Your
this.
big thing was it taking up space. That literally takes up like this much space. And that's way more convenient than a roll-up. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna go ahead and roll that deal, that's fine.
It's up to the man in the back.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking to people.
I'm not gonna put an amount in at this point.
We've been talking to people. Yeah.
Oh, you're texting.
That's fine. Do you want Danielle to go ahead or do you?
She's ready, yeah. She all ready? Mary's on the phone, so
Yeah,
we'll just hold up.
Mics are hot, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Somebody have a Sharpie?
I have a pen. I got a pen, a highlighter.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, okay? All right, you're gonna have a,
Most of it.
okay, we look forward to it, okay? Thank you. I have a big smile. Thank you so much. All right, you too.
And now for intermission entertainment, Juan's gonna give us a Warren story.
We were just talking about the homicide.
Well, you know, there was a guy that got arrested over the weekend for DUI. And supposedly, you know, when he got arrested, he was taken to jail a couple hours later. Same area, same place. There was a guy that just got hit by a car.
Yeah.
And it was a different incident. Luckily, that guy was like, oh my God, just imagine being that guy. Like, you're this close to being the suspect to a murder or hit and run.
And a car wreck.
Yeah, yeah.
Danielle, are you ready to go early or? Sure. You all ready?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Come on up. this year, so. When people show up, let them go, yeah.
Thank you.
It's okay. You don't have one. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Also have goodie bags for y'all too. All right, so I'm excited to be here today. I'm Danielle Gibson, President and CEO of Decatur Morgan County Tourism, and I'm thrilled to tell you about the things that we've been able to accomplish this year and some of our goals for this upcoming year. We are we're requesting the 64.3% of the 7% the city collects in lodging tax. So the purpose of Decatur Morgan County Tourism is we're a nonprofit economic development agency responsible for marketing Decatur and Morgan County as a destination for conventions, tour groups, sporting events, relocation, and special events. We also assist the area industry with their corporate travel needs in Decatur. Our staff works to stimulate the traveling public's interest in our attractions, our events, our festivals, recreational facilities, and tournaments. And we further attempt to develop tourism through the development and promotion of permanent attractions, food and entertainment facilities, sporting events, and special events that bring tourists to the city. We also encourage educational, promotional, service, civic, recreational, historical, and cultural activities that further the interest of the hospitality and convention industry in Decatur and Morgan County. So in our efforts, we work to promote a sustainable tourism plan that incorporates existing facilities and future projects to enhance community character and sense of place, making Decatur and Morgan County a special place to live and visit. These efforts create new tax dollars when visitors buy fuel and spend money in restaurants, attractions, hotels, and retail establishments. So we work to be an economic driver, a community marketer, an industry coordinator, and a builder of community pride. So in your original packet, you should have gotten our program of work. And as travel continues to increase, we're going to be very aggressive in our efforts to bring even more tourism to our community. So as you know, 2020 in the tourism industry was unique and had its own set of challenges. So even though the world stopped, we continue to be innovative in our ways to keep our industry moving forward. So the booklet that you have there, I'm going to give you some of those numbers out of the booklet, but I just wanted you guys to have an extra copy of it. Tourism is a vital economic driver for our county and our city. So according to the most recent economic impact analysis conducted by AUM economist Dr. Kevin Dravi for the Alabama Tourism Department, travel-related expenditures in Morgan County in 2020 was $239 million, which is a decrease of 14.1% from 2019, and provided Morgan County residents 2,557, which is a little bit of a decrease of 14.6% from 2019. Annual state lodging taxes collected in Morgan County in 2020 reached a little over $1 million, which is a small decrease of also 14.3%. So Morgan County households paid $427 less in state and local taxes as a result of the taxes generated by tourism spending in Morgan County. These events make a huge impact on suppliers, businesses such as photographers, printers who produce our programs, catering services, and rental companies. We recently hosted two very large-scale events. On June the 19th, we hosted over 144 teams at Jack Allen, and this generated over 5,640 room nights. These are all verified. So we filled up hotels all the way from Decatur all the way into South Huntsville. These teams averaged about 22 people per team, and these teams came all over from the southeast, so Oklahoma, North Carolina, South Carolina, South Texas. We provided over 3,100 participants with marketing materials for our area. Then right after that, after we played in the mud just a little bit, that was interesting and fun and challenging, but we figured it out. Excuse all of the pictures on social media, we look like a disaster, but we made it happen. So right after that, we continued to play in the mud at the JOAD USA Archery Target Nationals Championships, which was hosted July 7th through the 10th, and this brought over 725 archers
from over 37 states. This included Hawaii, Alaska, New York, Minnesota, and I could continue on with all the other states, but I just wanted to name a few for you. And we also hosted 2 young ladies who were on their way to the Olympics in Tokyo, so it was a kind of a big deal. And we're looking forward to having archery back in 2022. So we pursued these events and we built on the relationships our team has established with the event organizers. And these type of events help sustain and stabilize our hospitality industry. And we're incredibly thankful for our partnership with the City of Decatur and Decatur Parks and Recreation. So we hosted a little over 30 different events. These events varied from college softball, fishing, soccer, camps, you name it, we did it. We increased our travel schedule significantly. You'll see that in our program of work. So these shows allow us to sell our community. We go to a wide variety of shows, including sports organizers, group sales, and public relations. And these opportunities allow us to meet new organizers, also while maintaining a positive relationship with existing organizers. We work as a community marketer, so we've been investing in a user-generated content platform. It's visual content that we use for our print and digital advertisements, social media posts, and collateral. And we've used this platform to generate more traffic on our website by including locals and visitors' perspectives through photography. So I'm sure you've all seen our website. You can see where the Instagram posts are. It's a really neat platform. We also began our Visit Decatur AL Ambassador Program. In this program, we look for individuals who represent Morgan County well through their photos on social media. It's someone who explored, seeks adventure, captures the beauty of North Alabama, and shares it with the community. It's also someone who ultimately makes us want to go out and explore for ourselves. And this campaign alone has generated an estimated $100,000 in media value. And we get this from a third-party result. So if you would like that information, I can provide that to you. We also brought in travel writers from the Texas area and Cincinnati area, and we were featured on their social media channels along with published articles. We also do lots of ads in group tour magazines, sporting magazines, and we can provide copies of those to you too if you would like to see those. We also invested in a new platform. It's called Bandwango, and this is a user experience where it's a digital experience passport. So what's really neat about this is we're able to, people sign up for it and it captures the data. So we can see where they're from, how many people downloaded it, how many people checked into these different locations. And so the Moco Mural Trail was one of the new ones that we created. And just over this weekend, we had like over 40 people sign up for that Moco Mural Trail. So we're starting to see a lot of traction with that. But again, we're able to see where they're located and what's going on with them. And we are currently in the process of rebranding our organization to continue to better tell our story. So during the Christmas season, we purchased a Google ad display to drive traffic to our local stores. And we also did this type of campaign for the Alabama Jubilee, along with the opening of the Point Mallard Park. In our efforts to track our media exposure, we use a platform called Meltwater, where we're able to track who's posting about us on social media, who's posting about us in the news. So we're able to provide a monthly report. So if you know me, you know I like data and I like reporting for most of our marketing efforts. That's why you get a packet about this big every month. I apologize for that, but I feel like it's really important for us to.
This is small.
Yes, it's usually very big. So we also send out press releases. So this past year, we sent a little over 41 press releases to lots of media contacts. That's all media, news, online, all of that. And we also were able to purchase iPods to supply to John Allison and Judge Breland, which is a hands-free option. We are still working on that because we've got to upload the information so that they can use it, but we do have them available for them. We are also an industry coordinator. We have 2 local industries that represent 2 local companies on our board of directors. And one of the neat things that we were able to do is work with a lady who is a German representative. Her name is Janine, and we work directly with the Alabama Tourism Department. And we were able to do an introduction and networking meeting, and I'm going to try to say his name correct, Christoph Dorr, who's the European Office Director of Alabama Department of Commerce. It's a really long name, but which was a really neat opportunity. We're also a builder of community pride, so we continue to work by enhancing quality of life and acting as the chief flag carrier for residents and visitors alike. So we created the new series, #ThisIsMoco, during the pandemic, and we continued forward with that. So we hired a local videographer to create this new storytelling series. So we've got about 13 of those now on our YouTube. This series featured locals who are from diverse backgrounds, so our librarians, entrepreneurs, Friends of Wheeler, the Princess Theater, among others. We felt it's very important to tell our stories. And I've also had lots of opportunities to work with our civic organizations like Rotary, also participate with Decatur Parks and Recreation, Festival of the Cranes. Is that my time?
You're good to go.
Okay. I'm almost done.
Cody.
I'll talk really fast.
Jacob, don't push the button. He's shocked.
I was like, did everybody else get a buzzer? Oh no.
He's shocked.
Keep going. You're fine.
Okay. I'm almost to the end. That's your
Kids. Oh, this Kyle, yeah, he was the one sleeping, not me.
So we also give appropriation for our existing festivals along with new festivals that may arise, and we also help promote those events. Every month we send out a calendar of events to keep the community informed, and also our newsletter went from 4,500 subscriptions in 2020 to 7,500 in 2021, so that's been substantial growth. Our organization also took the lead on becoming a Tennessee River town, and this program is supported by the TVA region along with the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. We believe this will spur more ecotourism along the Tennessee River. So there are certain guidelines that we must complete in order to remain part of the program. So my organization will continue to take the lead and make sure that these items are completed. We have been working with Wheeler National Wildlife Refuge along with the Friends of Wheeler on their new programs they are offering to help promote those. And we're also working on a cleanup day in September, which will be called Cleanup for the Cranes. And we're working to connect local industries with the Friends of Wheeler. And we're also working on a new paddling event for underprivileged children, which we're very excited about. So in conjunction with those efforts of keeping our city beautiful, we are partnering with Leave No Trace and their Common Core principles. We created new staycation packages that encourage residents to explore their own backyards. So we usually do that on a quarterly basis, so we just had one of those come out. And we also assisted with the new Decatur Naturally mural, and we will also have swag to go along with that. So we've got it at the office, so I'm excited to share that with you. I've got the mugs with me today in your goodie packets. So I find it, like I said, very important for us to give you detailed reports on our marketing efforts and what we're doing at our office. So we will continue to provide those to you on a monthly basis. So thank you so much for your continued support.
You have any questions?
You hit it all.
What's the biggest expense that y'all have from a budget standpoint? I mean, there's not a lot of people, so I don't know if it's people, but what's your biggest? What do you spend most of your
marketing?
Yeah.
To be honest, marketing, and then also with the shows, they're not very cheap, which is a good opportunity for us to go out and sell our community. So the marketing piece is a huge part of our budget.
Any other questions? We're good.
All right, thank you guys. Only took me 12 minutes.
Think you can pull that off Thursday?
You can talk. If you want to come hand them out now,
Unless you don't want us to hear. Or Facebook.
No, you're good. Mary don't mind waiting a couple minutes.
What's that?
Worried about Herman letting us take this cake, but then he got offered a piece and he took it.
He did.
I asked you if we were allowed to take this cake, and then I wasn't sure. And they offered you a piece, and you took it right away.
It's gonna be out like in 3 days or 3 weeks with the new brand.
No, we've kind of held everything just to make sure. Thank you, Carlton. I can hand to you guys.
least when people
Thank
bring
you.
stuff, it doesn't make it that bad. I don't know, the puppy's gonna be tough to beat.
You guys have the cake yet?
Here, Herman.
Thank you. Hey, I have an idea. I'm gonna call you when I get through this and share with you.
Gotta go over here and give it to the attorney, so he doesn't think there's anything inappropriate.
Oh, really?
Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
Look at that. Pretty good.
Oh. Well, we had a reason to shimmy out, never mind.
Sorry.
Dude, get out of here.
Telling us.
Please go sit by.
Miss Mary, if you're ready to come up, you're more than welcome to. And I've handed out your packets that
Do you not want anything?
Yeah, we got
I
it.
have a bag.
I had one.
Sure. Well, thanks.
How are you?
Mr. Hunter.
How are you guys doing today? It looks like y'all are tired. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you have to do anything.
I'm sorry.
You yearn for that. Hang
I don't know
on.
if anybody can do that there, Hunter. So, are y'all ready for me?
We're ready.
Everybody awake?
We're good.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because, I think you guys all know what the Princess does for the community. When that light's shining, it, really brings people downtown. So, I think I know all of you, but I'm Mary McDonald, for those in the room who don't know me. I'm the executive director of the Princess Theater. So last year we had 105 rental days scheduled. Then COVID hit. So I brought my wrong document, so we're gonna be in trouble here, guys, but I'm gonna try and make it work. So we had 275 days that we were active last year. 47 of those were rental days, which is kind of a flip from what we typically have. We had 165 days of programmed events. 135 of those were movies. Because we couldn't do full capacity, we tried to focus on something that would allow us to keep the lights on and have bodies in the theater. Those typically generate between 6 and 90 people at a movie, so we don't make money doing that, but we did it anyway. Let's see here. We had an increase from our patrons that we saw coming from all over the North Alabama area, and we had 25 states represented this year. People coming from as far as New York to see shows at the theater, which obviously increased our hotel stays for the year. We added more dance companies this year than we've ever had. So we added 2 more. We added one from Ardmore, and we added one from Madison. Luckily, the school shut down, so people couldn't do their dance recitals at schools anymore. So they came to us during COVID, and then they've stayed with us now, and will continue to come to us. They're already booked for next year as well, which is kind of cool because what happens when we bring them in from Madison or Ardmore, they stay all day in Decatur, which is great for our restaurants, for our museums, for everything that we have here in Decatur, which is awesome. We also worked closely with Decatur Morgan County Tourism on lots of different initiatives this year. They sponsored quite a few movies. We did some stuff during Halloween to promote the theater through the paranormal activity stuff, and worked closely with Dreamweavers Children's Theater to provide shows. A lot of times they can't provide their shows unless they have full houses because their shows are extremely expensive. So last year we convinced them to do a play, which is not quite as big for the holiday season because we needed something for holiday season
They couldn't do anything, so we worked in partnership together to make that happen. So last year we also worked on improving the building. We've got a lot of issues with our building, and if anybody's been in there, some people have been in there when it's rained on their heads or rained upstairs. Like last weekend when we had the big storm, we had rain coming in from upstairs, which has been patched multiple times. We had rain coming down into the marquee and flooding through where the lights are underneath the marquee. One of the walls of the building is about to crumble on top of the marquee. I've tried to get an estimate on how much that costs to get fixed, but I've been unsuccessful in finding a general contractor who can let me know that. But while that's going on, last year I received a grant. It allowed me to fix the electrical in the building, which had a lot of hanging wires all over the building. I fixed the steel casing windows are getting fixed. We have a bunch of steel casing windows that have been basically open. You can't close them. Those are getting fixed at the end of August based on the grant that I got last year. I have applied for a grant, an energy efficiency grant that's $30,000, which would require a match of $30,000 to help us fix those windows that are on the side of the building that I let you guys know about last year. Of course, none of you guys were here last year, but we have a window that fell out of the building. We have 29 more that are on the verge of doing the same thing. So I've applied for a grant to try and help fix that, but I still need support. The outside of the building is technically per our lease agreement, not my responsibility, but I do what I can to try and help and get the funds that I can apply for. We've got a historical grant that I'm applying for that will help cover some of those windows, but again, it's piece by piece, these little things. So the other grants that I apply for are to help us with our programming. Right now I have $145,000 in programming out right now. Half of that was from last year's programming that got pushed out because of COVID. So I'm sitting on all this money that I can't realize until those shows have happened. And thank goodness I don't realize it till it happens, because last year I refunded $80,000 in tickets because of COVID. So that being said, we're doing what we can do to raise the money to help fix the building, to keep the lights on. All of our sponsorship really focuses on, everybody wants to tag it to something. They want to earmark it for concerts or theatrical events or movies. Nobody does anything for operations. So when we think about how programming works, with concerts, you are looking at your artist usually gets 85% of the gross profits before costs. So that doesn't include your utilities, your production, your lights, your sound, anything that you've got to have to put on the concert. So, but what little we do get back, we've been breaking even on all concerts, but what we do get back has to go back into music, because that's what the money's for. Or if it is movies, that's exactly what that does. If we make anything in the movie, we have to push it back into movies. So what that leaves us is very little to operate on at this point in the game. Typically, we take 10% of any proceeds and put that back into operating. So just wanted to let you guys know kind of what we do to manage the money that we are bringing in and how that feeds right back into the programming that we have. So, I'm going to leave that up to you guys to ask me questions, because that's all. I think you've got everything you need to know here and in your packet. So, do you have questions for me?
How do we get those programs? I mean, are you doing that recruiting? Okay.
Programming? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times people will say, oh, well, why don't you get these people? And I say, oh, why don't you find me a sponsor? And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't, right?
Explain a little bit, because, I think it's awesome you got Bruce Hornsby coming. Explain, like, you got to run a piano, you got to bring it in from here. I mean, and at the end of the day, you might make that much money, but it's a service to the community, and it's something that I'm a little partial.
Well, what it is you're getting a bunch of people to come to Decatur.
Right.
It's not necessarily that Princess is going to benefit, but
Right, well, and, you know, we're a nonprofit, we're not looking to, I mean, we would hope to be able to sustain on our own.
Fix
It's,
that wall though.
right, we do,
And
or that,
yours.
or it won't exist, and, you know, help me find a contractor. I've asked Kurt to, over at facilities, to help me find one, so hopefully we'll find one soon that can let us know how much that's gonna cost to fix. And again, I'm all for applying for funds where I can apply for funds to try and get things like that fixed. It's a matter of figuring out how to go about that and getting the estimates. But as far as programming is concerned, like Carlton said, I mean, Bruce Hornsby is a $30,000 act. People said people in Decatur wouldn't pay the kind of money we had to charge for that show, but 70% of the patrons who are coming to see Bruce Hornsby are in Decatur.
Yeah.
And a lot of them come from 35603, which is not where we normally have seen people in the past coming from. Most of the time, it's just people in the 35601, which is great because that means people will pay that kind of money to see that level of artist. But when you talk $30,000, I also have to spend $300 on his hotel room. I have to spend $1,600 to have a piano brought from Nashville to the theater. So there are all these costs that come into play when you're looking at the artist, and so we're doing it, and we've got a really good lineup coming up. It's a diverse lineup. We'd like to do more, but we need you guys' support and helping us figure that out. And again, I always take suggestions on what people want. So if you see in your districts that, oh, well, could we do this for our district, or our district might be interested in something like this, throw it my way, because if I can do it, I will. Again, a lot of the program we do is funded by a grant that I've received from the Alabama Council of the Arts or from sponsors. So a lot of the Alabama Council of the Arts grants that I receive are for the community. So I do things that are more family friendly. So, you know, all you guys gotta do is tell me what your people want. And that's what we'll try to make happen. Questions? Any more questions?
No, thank you for the job you do. You've done
Yeah,
great.
thank
It's
you.
always good to see a lot happening, and Carlton's probably way more favorable of it, but I just love seeing the lights on the sign anytime I go downtown. Carlton's got way more of a history with it, but it's always good to see, and everybody knows Decatur and knows the Princess sign, so knowing there's lots happening there is
It's
good.
just an icon, and I mean, I think it's good for the entire city when it's on, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you do.
Well, there's one little module I can get with my electrical package that'll allow me to turn it on and off from anywhere, but I still don't have a price on how that fixes. So like I could,
I've always
we
wondered
could
that.
time, there is a thing that we can do.
I would love
Put
to
a
see
timer
it
on it.
on, especially, you know, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Well, we're typically open Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, so it is on. I'm trying to average 20 days a month at least with us being in operation or active with the lights on, so.
One of the weird things years ago, when we'd go in and work on it, it had little toggle switches. You'd go in and there'd be 15, 16, 17 of them. Another night when Mary Poppins was there, I was like, let me turn that thing on for just 1 minute to get a picture I didn't get. And she said, oh yeah, you know where it is. And I was like, wait a second, it's not turning. Oh yeah, that got changed in the electrical redo. So now you push one little button and she all turns on.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, no more questions?
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
See you, thank you.
Thanks for hanging in there with me.
We got time for
Yeah, Mr. Wynn was scheduled for 2:50. I had. You did try to call? Okay. And then we have Miss Anderson with Meals on Wheels, and we're through.
So then there's one, so we got a break till 3. Oh, it is 3:30.
Yeah, part of it.
Did I miss anything good? Be realistic.
I'd like to hit you in the face, but that's not gonna do anything.
It's okay.
Up there on the little podium there, there's a microphone.
This is so different than last time. I think last year I was talking to, the mayor was here and Chuck Ord, I think, that was it.
Yeah, I watched some of those, there was nobody
So
else.
it's
Yeah.
really nice to see more faces. There's a little bit more interest, of course.
Thank you.
The mayor could do this presentation for me. He's heard it so many times.
Thank you, ma'am. You're good.
Is there an actual timer that I can see?
No.
Stephanie's got the time.
Will y'all give me a?
You're good.
Yeah, you're fine, go ahead.
That's
Okay.
not
Okay. We were talking about a shop keyboard or something to keep people on task. So, hey, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I appreciate y'all being here. It's nice when the council shows up and actually shows an interest in what's going on. So thank you for being here and thank you for letting me come and talk to you. My name is Cindy Anderson and I'm the Director of Community Services at Community Action Partnership of North Alabama. Hopefully you're somewhat familiar with our agency. We do a whole lot of things, one of those being Meals on Wheels and more. Our program, well, the mission of Community Action is to reduce or eliminate the causes and consequences of poverty. And so a consequence of poverty is hunger. And so 49 years ago, people in our community formed the Meals on Wheels program to address that need in the community for hunger, to meet that community need. Our meals are actually packaged not far from here at our kitchen on 4th Avenue. John Cook was generous enough to build our kitchen for us. He was such a wonderful man in the community and has done so much for our program. But we like to say that our meals are prepared and packaged with love because we want our clients to know that we care about them. It's not just stuff slung into a container. We want it to be eye appealing when they open that container. We want it to be colorful and have a variety, you know, just like when you go to a restaurant, you want the presentation to be nice. I can't say that it's always nice. Sometimes it does look kind of bland, but we make it a goal to try to make it colorful and always nutritional to meet their needs.
To include a copy of the Decatur Daily, right?
Do what?
To include a copy of the Decatur
They
Daily.
do get a copy of the daily. That's a wonderful benefit, and they really like that. Yeah, bang, that's good to plug in there. And our meals are provided at no cost to our meal recipients. So that's a wonderful thing to know. Before the pandemic started, we were providing an average of 300 meals a day, Monday through Friday. Since the pandemic, we have reduced that number to 260, and up until last week, we were only delivering each Wednesday. And we had to change our thinking, you know, for the protection of our clients, the volunteers, our staff. We had to think differently, just like the rest of the world. So we bought styrofoam coolers, had them branded, left them outside our clients' homes. And so rather than delivering hot meals, we were taking care packages. Usually it was 2 bags of items that they could easily prepare themselves. We gave them peanut butter, jelly, sandwich meats, tuna, fresh fruits and vegetables, soups, cereal, breakfast bars. We tried to mix it up as much as you can, but you know, you're kind of limited because it has to be something that they could easily either heat up on the stove or in the microwave themselves. So, so that's what we've been doing. Last week, we added Mondays back, so now we're delivering each Monday and Wednesday. So those are 2 hot meals that we're back up to, along with the care packages. We hope to gradually increase that and get back to our 5 days a week. But it just depends on the numbers in the community. Unfortunately, we've lost a lot of our volunteers. It takes a lot of volunteers to take care of those meals and to make those deliveries. Before the pandemic, we had 50 regular volunteers a month, and right now we're down to 18. And a lot of that is because many of our regular volunteers are elderly themselves and at high risk, and so they couldn't take the chance of delivering. And so many of them, we are afraid, will not return. So we're having to recruit from churches and the community to try to get new volunteers to come in and meet that need. So, that's a challenge that we have now. So if you have any connections, if you have parents that might be interested, if you have a church group that might be interested, we would love, love, love to talk to you about that. We do conduct background checks on all of our volunteers. So, because it's a vulnerable population that they're serving, we want to make sure that it's safe for them to be making those deliveries. So, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. So in the last 12 months, we've delivered over 67,000 meals. So, we're still doing a lot. We're just having to do it differently, just like the rest of the world. Our current operating budget, I'm sure you probably have a packet of information that contains it, but it's just over $276,000 a year. And as I said, I think I mentioned, all of our income is received locally, with the exception, we do get $40,000 from the Community Service Block Grant. So we do get a little state funding, but the rest is, United Way, churches, local individuals. The Decatur Daily is fabulous. They do a focus on Meals on Wheels in February for us. And that this year has been phenomenal in that area compared to previous years, and that just blew us away with the pandemic. So we don't know what to attribute it to, but we're grateful, and we're just so thankful that the Daily does that for us. Our average cost right now per meal is $4.25. Before the pandemic, it was like $3.67, and so you would think, since we're doing things differently, it would be a little bit less to provide a meal, but it's really hard. If you cook, when you buy in bulk and you're preparing casseroles and things like that, you can do so much more. When you buy a little bitty can of soup, you're gonna pay way more than almost what you can get, a big can of soup. So and you can't just go to Walmart. Think about, especially when the pandemic started, can't just go to Walmart and get 300 cans of soup. You can't get 300 cans of anything. Even now. So, we do have to use our vendor to order those things, so it takes a lot of planning. And again, we've just tried to be creative in what we're sending to our clients because, we want them to be able to eat it. We want them to be able to enjoy it. And but we still have a budget that we have to stay inside of. So, our dream team at the kitchen consists of 1 full-time staff person, and we have 4 part-time employees. And so, we do a lot with a few. And I would love for any of you to come by and visit our kitchen sometime. I know the mayor's been there several times. He's actually delivered meals with us. And we would love for y'all to come spend a couple of hours with us sometime, just to see what goes on there. It's a pretty neat process. Especially when we get back to our regular routine, it's a machine. We just get those meals done, get them packed up in clamshells, put in coolers, and ready for our volunteers to come by and pick them up. So it's just like I said, it's a machine. Our program is so much more than just about the nutritional value that they get. It's about the the social interaction. It's about checking on the client's well-being. It's allowing them to remain independent and in their own home. It helps with their food cost. And a lot of times we'll help people just during like a transition period. We have a lot of people that are referred to us that maybe have had like a shoulder surgery. And so, you know, they can't physically do some things. So they may just get on our program for like 6 weeks as they heal and recover. So a lot of people don't realize that you can do it just short term, which is a great thing. Another good thing about our program is we're able to see what the client's other needs may be. A lot of times, you know, if their house is not clean and tidy, they might need a senior companion. They might need somebody that, is that my 10 minutes? Get out. Okay, they might need someone to come in and help, so we would refer to a senior companion. They may need a ramp built because they, you know, they're in a wheelchair, so we would refer them to the volunteer center who works with churches to do that. Sometimes it's the yard is overgrown, and so we work with youth groups. So, you know, it's not just about meeting that nutritional need, it's about seeing what other needs we can help with. We may not be able to do it ourselves, but we know the resources to send them to. And so that's a tremendous benefit. I won't tell you everything that I have down here, but to qualify for our program, the individual has to be homebound or their driving is very limited. They have to live alone or have no one that lives in the house with them that can help prepare meals. A lot of times, unfortunately, we have a couple of families where there's 3 or 4 individuals in the home and there's some mental limitations, and so all of them, you know, it's a benefit to their family for them all to get meals. So, you know, there's a few situations like that, but and then we also have to have a referral from a doctor or hospice, DHR, a social service agent. So, you know, we do have a process to follow. Just a few things I wanted to share and then I'm done. We do a customer service survey every year so we can look at ways we can improve the program and ask our clients what other needs they have. And we're still working on this year's survey, but in 2020, so right before the pandemic, we sent the clients a survey. 90% responded that our portion sizes were large enough. Now again, this was before we started doing the care packages, so I'm anxious to get those numbers in. 98% said they had adequate space and in their pantry and refrigerator for the deliveries that we made. One of the reasons we asked that, NARCOG also has a food program, and they receive some extra state money to provide frozen meals, and so they wanted to see if any of our clients would benefit from frozen meals. And so right now, there are still 10 clients, I believe, that are getting meals from NARCOG. They stopped the care packages were not as user-friendly for them, so the frozen meals worked better. So we partner with NARCOG, and so that's a great way that we interact. And so clients don't get both programs, they get one or the other. That's up to them. So, more statistics and I'm done. 82% said that they're able to live more independently because of the Meals on Wheels program. And lastly, 85% said their overall quality of life was better because of the services of Meals on Wheels. So it's really important that we stay on top of those surveys and ask our clients how we can improve. But, you know, that's what we're about. We've got to be able to show outcomes and that the program makes a difference, especially when we're asking people to fund us. So, does anyone have any questions? I'm sorry I went over my 10 minutes.
You'll do a great job.
Thank you.
The well checks, hard to put a value on that.
It is, it really is. And, you know, right now during the pandemic, unfortunately, we've just tried to get visuals on them. So, so I'm ready to get back to our regular routine.
Gotcha.
Everybody else.
Thank
See
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Would we be